Ooh. Scary times. Anyway, Quimch music. Hello! Spooky. Music while you're watching you'll fight a shark. Very dramatic. Drama. Hello, friends. How are we doing? There's the Bell, there's the Kara, there's the Mist, there's the Jib, there's the Christy. Friends. Hello. How are we doing? Are we having a good Wednesday? Hey, apologies if my throat is a little tender. I recorded the voiceover for the 2nd October video. Yes, it's December. And I tend to get a bit animated when I do those voiceovers because I understand that my normal speaking voice is rather dull. Feeling kind of sickish. Oh no. Bad times. Everybody send Cheap your energy. Put your hand on the screen. There's a lot of stuff going around at the moment. People off work, getting bugs and so on and so forth. Woke up about 20 minutes ago, so still sluggish. Take your time. Eating a bowl of mashed potato. Don't know what that says about your current state, but anyway, that's where you're at. Anything with the mashed potato? I was about to ask if there's cheese or butter in there, but there probably wouldn't be, right? Yeah, I hope you feel better soon. So our Inktober video released today, it's fine. Cool. Well, I've recorded the voices and put them into the video, so the video is now fully voiced. I've just got to put everything else in it. The time lapses are all ready to just sort of slot in there, but I didn't have time because the stream started. Oh, and I also have to do commission stuff. I forgot to send to Dark. Whoops. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Vegetables. Vegetables. The voice is now fully videoed. Exactly. I put a camera right up to my mouth and smooched it. So, Chris Whoosh, we don't need to know who made this music, it was me. After people around you have or have had COVID in the last month, so you're isolating, thank you very much. Yeah, that's a smart move. Look after yourself, Christy. I don't know why I went northern there. Vote smooch. What was it? I encountered a random smooch in the wild. Not an actual smooch, but like somebody talking about a smooch in a video game, and I was like, ah! Friends! I must inform friends, and now I've forgotten what it was. Jib, hot beverage, comfort cloth, yum snack. Yes. All those, please. Because you love Northern. Great. That's great, that is. Aldous Gatty. Just finished watching a video where somebody drew characters as described by men writing women. And it was equal parts hilarious and terrifying. Is that the breasted boobily place? Yes, marvellous. I'm a big fan of the expression breasted boobily. It's very silly. But we can chat about random things when I'm drawing the next 8 bosses. So I will very quickly give a recap of what's happened in the last stream. So last time we were on Terra, and we learned that Simeon is an alien who was sent to Gaia, the planet that we started the thing on, as a replacement for Mr. Swan, who's also from Terra, as the person who is bringing about the effectively genocide of everything on the planet. And after a brief existential crisis brought about by Goldo trying to steal his soul, he's back and we're ready to confront Goldo. You have Pet Your Vampire, Astarion, which you did not get when you said it. Pet your vampires, everybody. Boobs being described as square as the headlights of a car. What? Look, I have to do hell drawings, which require me drawing similar anatomy, and even I know that's not how that works. Need to read women writing men the way men write women. Also very good. Nice. "60-year-old girl's hips being described as so narrow that they couldn't give birth to a needle." Ugh. Ugh. Is that Stephen King? He did a lot of drugs, alright? Sorry, yes. Yeah, we're on Terra and we're trying to sort this out. So we meet Goldo, we fight his pet dragon and him, and we don't kill him or anything, but we do beat him into submission. And then Mr. Swan turns up with the ship, the Invincible, the thing that can steal people's power, and he steals Goldo's power, and then promptly kicks him off the side of these mushroom things that we're standing on, presumably to his death. Yeah, there he is. He steals stuff, etc., etc. However, in the process of killing Goldo, Goldo's voice returns and informs Mr. Swan that, hey, unlike all the other genomes, I gave you a limited lifespan. You're gonna die soon. And that existential crisis and overflow of stolen power gives Mr. Swan the impetus to go into his trance form, which is fluffy, feathery monkey. Very bright pinks and reds. You support Swan in his moment, yes. We have a brief fight with him before he goes all Ultima and fires magic missiles everywhere, completely destroying all of the life support things on Terra, thus eliminating all life on the planet, or all of the life that was sleeping on the planet, which isn't great. But yeah, that happens. So we run away while he's doing that. Be a dick, you earned it, mate. So yeah, while he's doing that, we escape, and that's just an empty layer, is it? An empty layer? Let's find out. No selection, that's an empty layer. Let's get rid of it. Go away, layer 219. But on the way back, we evacuate all of the gnomes that are living here onto the ship, because while he's doing all this, he left the ship unattended. So we nick the ship and we get all the gnomes on board, including the only gnome here who has a soul, who is Simeon, who was intended to be the replacement of Simeon, because there's a whole cycle situation going on here. Muffin's still here, but they can come on board, that's fine. So yeah, we get them all on board, and we go back to Gaia once Terra is basically completely obliterated, and we decide that a good idea is for the gnomes to come and live with the black mages, so that because both of them were artificially created creatures who didn't really have an identity or a personality or a soul to begin with, but can sort of get it over time. At least the black mages can. We're hoping the gnomes can. We have no evidence of this, other than that whatever happened with Simeon, but whatever. So they sort of coexist, and the black mages are teaching them how to sort of live, and also what this planet's like, because they've never been here before. But yeah, and we decide to try and find what's going on with Mr. Swan, and because when we arrived back at this planet, there's mist everywhere, thick fog covering the entire planet, which is a bit weird because the mist was supposed to have stopped when we killed the tree. The cauliflower tree. However, Goldo did inform us that we didn't actually kill the tree, we killed the thing that was running the tree, and that the tree is this weird multi-dimensional thing, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's probably something we've got to sort out. We've also got to worry about what Mr. Swan's doing, because he just destroyed one planet, he could probably do another. Yeah, so we think that's a good idea. Princess Zolderknife has a fantastic idea as well, which is to not tell anyone we're going there. Yeah, let's just not mention the people who have like fleets of airships and stuff, that we're going to head towards a really dangerous place. It's fine. We have a brief intermission in which Quimch finds a massive feast in a cave, and it turns out it's imaginary, but we do get to meet Vivi's grandpa, who adopted Vivi, having fished Vivi out from the ocean. And he's dead, but he's a ghost. And he comes to congratulate Quimch on their ability to use their imagination to eat things that are tastier than real life. Quatatui, I think was the name of Quimch's mentor, comes in and starts having a go at Quail, and Quail's like, well, this is exactly why I left, because of this lack of imagination you have, blah, blah, blah. You need to travel the world, etc. And yeah, so we basically decided that Quimch and Vivi are now siblings. Hooray! Thus nullifying their fake marriage. Cheeb is sharing men writing women Dutch style. I guess I should be happy that I don't understand what's written there. She had the face of a 10-year-old, freckled and fully matured breasts. Yeah, that's that person needs arresting. Men writing women. They'll believe in him and his devastating potential. Anyway, yeah, so we have this lovely family reunion, and we learn immediately arrested, exactly. So yeah, we have this lovely family reunion. We have a slight aside in which we fight a ball of gas. That was boss number 4 of 13, I believe. Watch Lavender Town's video on men writing women. Stick it in Discord. We can all have a look. Please no. And then we go to the tree, and there's fog everywhere, but there's also this weird purple orb above. And we approach the weird purple orb in the Invincible. Thank you, Cheeb. I like the thumbnail already. That's headlight boobs. These look terribly. These look terrifying. That's the word I'm looking for. These look terrifying. Have to be in the correct mood in the view of the world. Don't watch at the time of the month, for example. Yeah. don't. If you're subject in a particular state that will be easily aggravated, then yeah, not ideal. But they are terrifying. But yeah, so we go to the cauliflower tree. This is the thing that was filtering out the souls of the native Gaian population and replacing them with souls of the Terran population, and turning the Gaian souls into mist. And there's this weird orb floating above it. So we approach the orb, and then a whole bunch of dragons come out. Just so many. Huge swarms of goose dragons. And we can't take care of that. We have literally no firepower. This was a terrible idea. Luckily, we're not alone, because March comes to save the day, including also the Tantalus crew and Queen Girlboss. In part 2, one of the women is described as having a bifurcated chest, with boobs that were jumping out like a certain type of fish you can't remember. You can describe anything as bifurcated. Not in a... Yeah, I don't know. The only example I could think of would be an amputee, and that's just disrespectful. Parsnip always making your words make sense. You make words make sense. I understand. I'm merely rewording things that people have said so that I have things to say. And I don't have to come up with my own things to say. This is the job of a streamer, you know. Dead air is poisonous. So the fleet of Lindblom come along and they start firing at dragons, but not only the fleet of Lindblom, but the fleet of Alexandria as well, with Jesse and the Knights of Pluto coming along, firing cannons, and there's a big old cinematic with lots of dragons being shot down. And it's a cool time. And then we go and fight a dragon, who is the 5th boss of this boss rush. 5 of 13, strap in everyone. And that's where we left off. Exciting music. Right, we arrive in a weird place. Many dragons made me think of those. What's one of these? One of these little friends. They look like paper clips. Very elaborate paper clips. Vaguely pleased that you cannot remember any truly horrible descriptions of women in any of the books you've read, and scared there are apparently so many descriptions like this out there. There's just so many books, and people don't bother checking to see if they're tasteful before they publish them. I'm not reading that out, Cheap, but that is They yeet, you pull them with your fingy. Oh.
Jiggling ovaries.
Okay, you can read it out. So we head into the putting Hazel in timeout. Hazel is literally just the messenger. They can be put in timeout for their pronunciation, but not for the things they say. Hazel has no editorial power here. Also, women writing women. You remember trying to read Twilight as a teenager, and Jesus Christmas, you couldn't get past the main character's description of herself. People always try and be interesting with their descriptions. They can just be descriptive, it's fine. Remember, writers, if you think you're being original about something, do ask yourself, why do I think this is original? Because if the answer is because no one else would write it, probably not great. Anywho, we fight this dragon, and then there's a big swoosh of light, and then we wake up in this very strange place, which I can't really draw it with any justice. It's really cool looking, because if you ever played Dark Souls 3 and you've played the DLC, think of the Dreg Heap, right? Just a whole bunch of like buildings and cities and towns just smushed together in higgledy-piggledy geometry. And at the top of it is this sort of big sort of building that's slowly being built out of pieces falling from the sky. And it's one of the coolest locations in a Final Fantasy game, in my personal opinion. I just really like the image. It's real neat. Getting flashbacks to My Immortal, or whatever that one fanfic was. I was seriously considering copying something a streamer that I followed did, which was having a once-a-day a channel point redeem of read a chapter of My Immortal. Wasn't a needle, it was a baling wire? What's a baling wire? Don't know what a baling wire is. Yeah, that's not... Oh yeah, that's the description of a 16-year-old, which is gonna have the author reported to the police. Unless the character is supposed to be deliberately sleazy, I don't know, but it's possible. Do these jingle too, like bells, or do they just jiggle? Something to do with Cuthbert in here, and I'm not gonna go there. You will for December now reference to Boobas as a jingle ball. Now that's a Cuthbert reference. So anyway, we wake up here. I'm not even going to bother drawing characters in this area because nothing really happens with them. Single-handedly increasing the length of this draw through by distracting me with bad writing. It's fine. Like, what we have left is like 1.5 streams worth, so feel free to pad it out. So yeah, we arrive at this place. This place is called, well, we are told what this place is called because we arrive here and Simeon starts hearing voices. I guess I should probably end with the one interesting thing that does happen here. Simeon starts shouting at the air and everyone's around him going, what are you doing? He starts hearing a voice talking to him, and it turns out it's the voice of Goldo, who is... alive, dead, dead, alive. Talking to him and explaining what this place is. Why he's only talking to Simeon, I don't really know. I guess it's because he's a genome, I suppose. Sorry, a gnome. Oh, also, just as an aside, when I opened up the Drawthrough folder to start this stream, I realized that there are only 3 files in it, one of which is called Pluto, which is where I put the notes of the names of the Knights of Pluto so that I wouldn't lose track of it all. But there was also this, which I forgot about, which is my first test to see if I could actually draw these characters well. And this is the best drawing I've ever done of Simeon, and I never managed to replicate it. So just so you know, I can draw him. But anyway, back to not being able to draw him. So yeah, Goldo's now talking to us from beyond the grave, or whatever the Terran equivalent of a grave is. And he's telling us what this place is, and this place is Memoria, which has confused me when I played it, because I honestly thought that Memoria was the place on Terra and this was Pandemonium, so evidently I got that mixed up. But no, this is Memoria, which makes sense, because this is a place made entirely out of memories. All of the architecture that we see is being built from the memories of us and more things that I'll explain as I go. Nibbles. If only they stayed like that, it would have made my life a lot easier. Yeah, that's a pose. I just realised I was gonna, before the stream, remind myself what one of the bosses looked like, but I guess we're not going to. There's the Drawthrough. We deal with the consequences of not knowing things. Dark's asking, did AI write these? If only. Never doubted you could draw him, you're doing great. Which is funny because you speedrun through everything and barely remember this place. This is the thing, this is the final area of the game, right? And it's suitably for a Final Fantasy game, surreal. They do their surreal end locations. But yeah, throughout this place, we get a kind of narration of sort of what this place is and all of the memories that we're looking at. And we start getting sort of exposition of background stuff via Goldo's disembodied voice. If in doubt, draw Quimch. I guess if we get to the final boss, I will have to draw the characters prior to that, but This is Caldwell yelling. Her breasts swaying jauntily like two ripe fruits in a breeze. That's just a badly written sentence. Her voice was as smooth as perfume oil. Sorry, Cheeb is... I'm not just coming up with these off the top of my head, Cheeb is sharing examples. No, Christy has an interesting idea, trying to draw monsters based on these descriptions. It's kind of fun. A breeze, I know. How light are these fruits? Like, we're not talking about something quite dense. Like, it can't be like an apple or anything like that. It's got to be like real. Ain't no pear. Also, specifically ripe fruit. I don't know. These people don't think these things through. Anyway, let's get back to our 23-part Final Fantasy IX draw-through. I definitely thought that through. This is now the longest Final Fantasy draw-through, though. The 22 parts was the Final Fantasy VIII one, though. Voice being as smooth as perfume oil gave you a weird sensory experience as you read it. I don't know why, but I always assume like things like that have a kind of slightly wet but rough feel. I don't know if it's like the solventiness of it, I don't know, but either way, not smooth. Some unique monster descriptions for sure, yeah. You can get some Waters of Mars stuff going on there. What was I saying? I don't know, I'm just listening to this music. I really like this one. This one turned out really good. Yes, so we're in Memoria. Memoria. The final dungeon. And it's sort of surrounded by, like, weird hills made of buildings and all very strange. And I like it. It's neat. And as we travel through, we start seeing events of the past and flashbacks to things that have happened and all these sorts of things. But we also just get into random boss encounters, which is not a thing that normally happens in Final Fantasy games. But specifically, we get 4 of them. So let's do... I can't remember what order they happen in. Now, I probably should have thought about that. Okay, I think it's the snake first. Which I can't really remember what they look like. I can't remember what any of these bosses look like because they're over very quickly. She was about to cover her startled breasts. Oh no! Bamboozled. Dishes are done. Time to check Discord and see all the crimes. There are many crimes. There you go. There you go. But yes, do you remember there was a little storyline earlier on in the draw-through where we went to 4 shrines and there were 4 monsters defending those shrines. And we only ever fought 1 of them. We didn't actually fight all 4 of them. Turns out we're fighting them now! For reasons! They're just here. I can't remember their names. But they're like the 4 main bosses of Final Fantasy 1, like the 4 fiends. So it's definitely like a, you know, an homage to that. I want to call this one Lilith, but I don't know. Remember the order if you want. I think it's Snake, Jabu Jabu, Dragon, Skellybob, right? But yeah, suffice it to say that their designs are more ornate and interesting than what I'm going to draw. As I think is always the way with the draw through. Understand this at this point. It doesn't really matter what order they come in, I don't think. So anyway, yeah, we've basically got a little boss rush of the 4 fiends, rehashed, redesigned. It's a fun little nod. I like it. I don't mind this being in the game. I think it probably would have made sense to have them in the 4 shrines before, but I guess it got cut for time. I don't know what else to give you, so I'm going to give you some cool jewelries. Snake, Hydra Dragon, Jabu Jabu Skeleton. No, it's the dragon first, okay. You have Lebkuchen? Oh, now I'm angry at you. Purely envious anger, I assure you, but still. She was little and female, but her thoughts were original. And this is from a book where at the top of the page it said Crossroads, so I'm also going to blame Bear for that. See, Bear said this. Then a U with Lebkuchen. I should look up how to make Lebkuchen. I do very much like it. Lots of spices and nuts and stuff. Feeling special. Hey, did you know people like that exist and write stuff and sell books? You know what that means? You know what that means? It means you got a chance. If that's the standard, you go for it. Exactly. See, you guys know. If that's publishable, you got this. Also gonna strap a sword to your tail, hope you don't mind. Maybe a couple. Anyway, boss number 6. Who I can't remember the name of. I want to say Lilith, but I'm not sure. If it's publishable to keep describing the newly blossomed boobs of a 14-year-old in a weird amount of detail, you can do anything. And you really shouldn't do anything. Please, stop doing anything. Have some standards. This is Lilish. I think is a Pokemon now that I think about it. Oh no, they made like Bad Guy, right? Which I would sing now, but I've forgotten how it goes. You're legitimately upset. That you should be, frankly. Yeah, so we fight them. Then we get a flashback. And the flashback is to well, let's do the flashback, because I can flashback. I have all the previous episodes. Or that. No, after that, sorry. That's happening, but what else is happening? That's what I want to know. This whole thing here. Flashback. Wibbly wobbly. Insert Jeff Goldblum speech, just because you can. Oh, that's the one. Her breast had the solid squareness of car headlights. What is... I'm actually tempted to read that one out because it almost has a punchline. She moved very gracefully, like a dancer, although she was actually rather squat physically. She was less defined by curves than most women. Her figure was more square, and her breast had the solid squareness of car headlights. Her legs went straight down, and her waist did not dip inwards, but she was still extremely graceful. She moved on the front of her feet, tripping forwards and back as if in a perpetual dance. And her face was very beautiful. Just like, she had a face, I guess. We will describe the angular nature. Are they describing Tifa from Final Fantasy VII? I mean, she literally had, like, you know, I guess they were triangular, but still. Yes, that's actually about to fall over, exactly. Is the only reference for a woman this person has Final Fantasy VII? Is that the only? Is that the only woman they've ever seen? Is Tifa? Face? She has it. It would also explain the lack of detail about her face. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted. So we have a bit of a flashback to this happening with Bahamut going and Alexander going no, etc., etc. And we walk into the room and the sky changes and we see this sort of being projected. It's literally the CGI cutscene being projected onto the background. And Betty and Zolda Knife are both reacting to this and going, oh no, it's this, and so on and so forth. And Simeon's like, what the hell are you talking about? We can't see anything. And it's then that is explained by Zoldo that the memories that you can see here are your own. You can't see someone else's memories here. I'm mentioning this for a specific reason. And we will find out that reason in a couple of bosses' time. But yeah, so we get a little bit of a flashback to that, and we also start picking up weapons. You can pick up like ultimate weapons as you're going through. It's a good time. Anyway, back to the boss rush. For next, according to Kiro, we have a Durgan. More! She snapped, somehow managing to make it sound flirtatious. Somehow being the operative word there. Her eyeshadow matched the dark blue of her tight jumpsuit, making her look like a dame you might meet in a bowling alley. Yes, of course. We can all connect to this. This is a very old book with things have changed a lot. Did that used to be a reference people could understand? Doing very well given my distractions tonight. Again, it sort of solves the problem in as much as I didn't really think there's 2 streams worth of content left, so it's nice to have something else. Also, Cheeb's ill, so they're allowed distractions. Nope. I stopped reading that at the first sentence of his thoughts were interrupted as he heard the school bell. I'm out. I mean, to be fair, again, we don't have the context for this. Maybe this is from the point of view of an awful, awful person. And the reader is supposed to feel like they are an awful, awful person. But still. Oh, the perspective of a teacher. Still could be an awful, awful person. We do not know the intent of the author from that thing alone. On the other hand, still don't like it. Edit so much, yes. Then again, as somebody who was a teaching assistant in a school and spent his time between lessons reading random books, and at the time was reading a lot of Will Self, can confirm there are worse things to be reading in a school. Do not read the last story of the short story collection Tough Tough Toys for Tough Tough Boys in a school. That came out of nowhere. The rest of the stories are fine. It's just the last one. It's a short story collection. You don't know what you're gonna get, I guess, but... Bloody Will Self. I do like that one. That one is fun. She was leaning against the door frame like an attractive yawn on legs. that one, I like that one. We can keep yawn on legs. I think that's a good description. Probably not the description they intended, but I like it. Presumably you have wings. I also can't remember what the name of this one is. Is it Tiamat? It's usually Tiamat, right? Or I guess there are 3 of them, so it should be like Triamat. Someone describing projectile vomit as a technicolor yawn, my word. I'm so shocked you made a seagull sound. Yeah, this is Tiamat. Okay, this is Tiamat. Those got 3 heads. And as is tradition, when you draw a 3-headed monster, one of them has to be silly. That is just the demands made of the genre. Yeah, so this is another one. I think this was the one that Vivi and James fought in the Wind Shrine. We get to fight it now, however we wish. No longer beholden to strong gusts. Yeah. And they're just here and we fight them. Because they're a memory, I guess? Triamat's cute. I tried. Get it? I tried. Oh, here's more. She has breasts that smile. Why did... that goes well with the one that was before. What was the one before? Oh yeah, the startled breasts. Breasts can be startled and smile. Have these people only seen what's that film with Schwarzenegger and it's on Mars? And there's like people have like faces on their chests. Every day we find out new things breasts can do. I bet none of these people have ever seen breasts before. So yeah, Triamat, boss number 7. At the very least, they could have been the 3rd one here, right? Whatever. Yeah, I've never seen naked women before, or breasts, or anything. So yes, then we walk through, I think another memory happens. I think there's 4 moments where a memory happens, right? Like 1 between each moment. But I can only think of 3, so we'll just go to the next boss. Who is, Jabu Jabu. Gonna go proper Cthulhu with this because I can't remember what they look like. They're King Jabu Jabu, so. Many a tentacle. This probably is the one that's going to end up looking least like the actual thing. Because I can see the fight in my head, but I can't actually see any detail. It's more the animation. It's more these sort of wobbles from side to side with his tentacles. I feel like actually has a slightly pointier head. Like a squid. Yeah, just gonna go tentacles, why not? But anyway, yeah, keep talking amongst yourselves, nothing interesting's happening. Although soon, once we've gotten through these 4 bosses, you're gonna get to choose the final boss. So that'll be fun. I mean, the reason you get to choose the final boss is because it doesn't matter, so maybe it's not gonna be that fun, but still. I had a bit of FF16 last night and did some more last-minute side quest stuff before going to the final dungeon/fight, and it's official. You officially played the game for over 100 hours. Nice. Good job. There is something pathetic about a woman's neck and shoulders. What a good start. They are childlike in some way. One can never really bring oneself to be harsh with them. As if you'd want to. I don't mean the fat ones, of course. The ones with necks like hams. Again, this is the standard you're comparing yourself to if you feel like you have imposter syndrome about your writing. You once legitimately worried that the game wouldn't be quite as long as other FF games you played, and yet you think it's the longest you've played a Final Fantasy game. That's fair. Why would you want to be harsh to someone's neck? I know, right? Also, hams. Not necks like ham, no, like hams. These people's necks are like multiple hams. How does that work? Fortunately, I am aware of the you know, that people refer to a particular sort of large cut of meat as a ham, but to me a ham is just a type of meat. So like multiple hams is just like ham from different types of pig. It's like, they have layers, do they? Or are they mushed together like a luncheon meat? I think my neck is more gammon, personally, but of the absurdity of all this. Get what they mean, but you've also only ever seen ham in thin slices. Yeah, I know, right? Like, I know a ham from, like, American cartoons or whatever. I know a ham is a thing, but I'm pretty sure it was after a whale. I like how that's highlighted of a pair of long legs stalked past on stilettos. That was highlighted. And I get why, but the next sentence is Andrew rolled his eyes and whistled in a very un-PC way. It's like, yeah, this guy's got no chance. We eat ham, again, just as a reminder, I'm not saying these things myself, we are reading them from sources. Looks like from game to judge me harshly. I'm nothing. You eat ham with the skin on at Christmas. You've got to eat a lot of necks in Denmark. So I've had, like, you know, there's chicken with skin on. That's never really had it with ham. I guess we have crackling here. Heard that terrible joke? What? There was a joke? Did I make jokes? I apologize if I made jokes. I did not make one deliberately. It's just second nature to me. Oh, that one. Yeah, I did make that one. Yeah, that is true. Yes. Sorry, I forgot about that. You have lots of ham here, especially for Christmas, and you wish we didn't because you don't like ham. That's fair. I'm not a big meat guy. I like tuna. Basically that on top of the ham. Need the pineapples bit. It's cooked with it, but not the ham. Would love a really nice salad and tapas table at Christmas. I never had tapas. I don't know what it is. Anyway, this is Jabu Jabu. I think it's technically Kraken, but whatever. Jabu Jabu, aka crackling. to display the almost legal shape of her breasts. I've seen people with illegally shaped breasts. Bloody tesseract boobs, honestly. People with 4-dimensional breastage. The worst. Get in prison. Prunes. Prunes? Anyway, back to the game. So yeah, we fight another one of these. This was the water temple, presumably what thingy and thingy. Zolda Knife and Betty fought. And then we fight it. Hooray, good times. Then we have another flashback, but this flashback is to... Simeon sees it. He looks over the railing and he sees, by the water, a woman and a small child coming off of a raft. And Simeon's like, hey, stop, it's dangerous down there, it looks stormy. And it turns out that what he was seeing is young Zolda Knife, as a little child, coming off the raft with her either dead or soon-to-be dead mother. But Zolda Knife comes along and is like, oh yeah, I can see that, but why could you see it? How could you see my memory? We were just told that you can only see memories that you've had. And this is a bit of a question. And then Goldo chimes in with his disembodied voice and mentions that, yes, I did say you can only see the memories that you have, but do bear in mind that memories are connected through the life force of the planet. And you inherit the memories of the people who came before you and are connected to the souls that bore you and the souls that come after and in and of, and it's all one big mishmash, therefore kind of eliminating the point of only being able to see your own memories. I don't know, they explicitly set up the idea that you can only see things that you remember, and then immediately say, actually no, that doesn't count because everyone's connected. And I'm not sure how that works, because Simeon isn't. Simeon's from a different planet. He is not connected to the souls of Gaia. But whatever, it's trying to do a thing. Yeah, no, not that one, no. Not even saying that one. The irony of using the expression which looked like it had been painted by a painter who understood women by somebody who does not understand women. The nipples seem to be looking around. What? Curious about the unfamiliar surroundings. They can see now. Boobs can see. The lore grows deeper. Simeon season, it's raining monkeys. Thought they'd reveal like that Simeon had been on the Invincible during the moment, and that's how he saw it. That's what I thought was going to happen when I was like, oh, I don't remember this. Why is this happening? Yeah, and I thought it was like, oh, he was there when it happened, and he was with Mr. Swan on the Invincible, and maybe that was the original intention, but they changed it at the last minute. I don't know. Yeah, they didn't follow through with it. It was just really weird. They explicitly go, you can only see things you remember, and then directly contradict it. Why do the boobsies authors write have more personality than the women they write? No, you don't understand, Jeeb. Women are differently shaped and emotioned boobs on legs. On stilettos. Oh, they can whisper as well now, that's good. Jammed. Cool. Back to the game. And I can just sort of copy this one, although I will augment it with things that I forgot. So we've seen... No, not that. We've seen 3 of the 4 fiends, and we have actually seen one of them before because we fought them, if you recall. Gotta find them though. Yeah, so it's during all this. There we are. So now we fight the souped up version of the one that we fought before, the Lich. Skeleton guys, neat, yeah. And now let's see if I can remember some of the things I forgot. I believe they had scythe hands, which is pretty cool. Which probably makes, you know, doing household chores a bit difficult, but... This time they're Grump. Yeah, Earth Guy. You know, the floating skeleton. Earth Guy. No, no, no. No. Sorry, more quotes. Jeeb is just flooding the Discord with... all the bad quotes. I'm gonna give him loads of skulls now. Like Nito. Thank you, frickin' frack. Nah, it looks silly with a big head. More feathers. Get rid of this robe. I don't know what's going on. You're being silly. Yeah. Hate the snippets, but love that you're having fun. Yeah, I can't remember what it is about this that's neat and cool. But they look neat and cool. Give them a cape. Why not? They deserve a cape. Wow. Wow, that's just... That's not even... Man can't describe woman. That's just straight up misogyny. Man's beauty represents inner functional truths. His face shows what he can do. And what is that compared to the magnificent uselessness of a woman's face? Yeah, that's something else. Both bad, but that's something else. Then again, I think that's probably a good one to go on the pile of fun insults. Your magnificent uselessness. It's a good thing for a jester to call a king, I think. In the bin! I'm glad the bin emote's getting used. I was literally thinking the other day, we haven't used that in a while. What? What? Wow, that one is... Somehow, I'm not going to mention the quote because I kind of feel like just saying this with no context. That is somehow managing to fuse together no understanding of women and no understanding of spiders. I've never seen a woman or a spider before. Anyway, this is Lich 2.0. Lich. What boss are we on now? Number 9? Number 9. Lich. What? I know, right? So yeah, we fight Lich. Also, if we have played this game quickly, and we managed to get to this point of the game, I think in 12 hours or less, we could pick up James's ultimate weapon, which was left here, I think, by Tiffany, if you remember Tiffany. Apparently Tiffany, or at the very least it's mentioned, Tiffany's mentioned here in the picking up of it. I don't know, it's fine. But we have definitely not gotten here in 12 hours. This is stream 23, so we don't get that. Hate that so much. Yeah, understandable. But yes, now we have beaten the 4 fiends. We've beaten the 4 random bosses of this area. However, there are more bosses before we actually get to the story. There is an optional boss here. They're not the optional super boss, we've already seen that, that's a ball of gas. But they are another optional boss, and they are an optional boss by virtue of previously having been the final boss before they got cut at the last minute and replaced with something else. So they literally just stuck them in a corner somewhere that doesn't even have its own location or boss arena. So I'm gonna give you guys a choice now. Would you prefer to reinstate that boss as the final boss and replace what is the final boss with it, and vice versa? Or do you want to keep it as it is? Or I guess I could give you both of their names and you can decide which one you want to be the final boss. Neither of them are spoilers, you've never heard of them prior to this. So then how you want to do it? Because we get something important for beating them. Give us the names. Okay, you have a choice as to which final boss would you like. We haven't got to the final boss yet, but which would you like? Would you like Hades or Necron? Your choice. I won't say which is which. It's up to you. Jeeb votes Hades. One vote. We have one vote, and that's for Hades. Hades, screw the other guys. Yeah, that makes sense. To be fair, Hades is a pretty tough fight anyway. Of hanging out with Hades. Can't go wrong with Hades. Cool. Hades is now the final boss. They weren't in the original game. Well, they were in the original game, but before release they got changed. And then just kicked into a corner. But we have now changed the final boss to Hades. And instead, we get to fight another optional boss, who has now been kicked out, called Necron. You just find them behind a rock. Quite literally, behind a rock. Although there is a fun scene that happens before you get to that rock, and I'll incorporate that into this drawing, why not? I guess slight trypophobia warding? Trypophobia? I'll try not to make it too bad, because I'm drawing it, so we have an advantage. But yeah, don't. If you have trypophobia, don't look it up. Don't look up Necron. What is it with the necks? Yeah, the writer did not like that character, did they? Right, let's see if I can work out how to draw this character. I'll be perfectly honest, I've just realized I have no idea what's happening down here. So... Consider it making it look like a tarantula that was painted over. Good try. Plamp's been thinking all these came from the same book, which would be convenient. We could just the one author, just throw him off a cliff. There's a lot of circles, a lot of spinning, like halo-y sort of things going on. Her bosom changed from a promise to a threat. They can threaten now. They got a gun! Who gave her bosoms guns? Yeah, I can't remember what's happening here, so... Pew pew. Hello, Plamp! How's the bus? What is going on here? I'm drawing boss rush basically in Final Fantasy, and Jeeba's entertaining everybody with quotes from terrible, terrible authors. How are you? You alright? What is going on with the lower half? I honestly have no idea. Okay, you have a work picnic today for Christmas, so you have to go and do peopling. Honestly, the concept of a picnic for Christmas, obviously this is a hemisphere thing, but to me the concept of a picnic for Christmas is just so baffling, but I hope you have a lovely time. Goals. Supposed to be 21 degrees today. Picnic weather. That seems perfectly reasonable picnic weather. Okay, I have an idea. It's Final Fantasy, right? Things look like crystal. At the end of the game, it's something abstract, make it a crystal. Seems reasonable. Of this biblically accurate Beyblade. Yeah, there's a lot of concentric rings and eyeballs going on in this fight, as well as them having a lack of eyeballs. And just holes in the face. They are supposed to represent death, decay, that sort of stuff. So it sort of makes sense. But again, bear in mind, this is, you know, if you play Final Fantasy IX, this is the final boss. Not for us. This is now an optional boss for us because we've replaced the final boss with another final boss. But this is just what comes out of nowhere and is the final boss. There is no lead up to this. It just happens. I say there's no lead up to it. There is a quote from Star Wars. We'll get to that. Well, I'm glad her nipples have the right to be there. That's always handy. I hate it when I discover that my nipples are on me illegally. Added rep summons this thing. But yeah, this is honestly the weirdest thing about Final Fantasy IX is its final boss comes out of literally nowhere. Like, previous Final Fantasy games, we've had bosses that are kind of come out of nowhere. 3 in particular has a boss that's sort of out of nowhere, but at the very least, you know, you get a couple of cutscenes beforehand. This, nothing. Stolen nipples, contraband nipples. But anyway, so yeah, this is a optional boss that you find in an area that looks like it's underwater, but it isn't. But due to the power of imagination, Quimch can swim around here. There's just this scene of Simeon walking along and Quimch swimming beside them. And Simeon's like, "What are you doing?" I says, "Hey, there are fish here! Tasty fish!" So we get one last good Quimch moment. The bus is about to arrive and you have to immediately run to the office. I'll catch you all later. Thanks for popping in. Hope you have a lovely picnic. Enjoy. Meanwhile, unless something changes drastically in the last minute, you get glimpses of the final boss as early as a third of the way through the game in FF16. Ooh. Love you, Quimch. Quimch is the best. Quimch be good. I love the things like... I've said this many times before, I never know what Cheeb's gonna latch onto in a thing. But if you look back at the previous Final Fantasies, and you see like, okay, Cheeb latched on to the Turks in FF7, latched on to the non-binarity in FF8, and Quimch in FF9. Like, what a trajectory. Oh, and March as well. I forgot about March. Obviously March. My apologies. Sorry, the game forgets about March, so I forgot about him as well. So my apologies. You called March. That's fair. That's fair. I did think, because like next year I want to do a calendar of all of October's siblings, and obviously March is going to be March, right? But I legitimately had a thought of like, oh, people are going to be like, oh, you just took that character from the thing. Why is he just taking March from Final Fantasy IX? And then I remembered, oh yeah, that's not actually his name. It's a special hour. Women never wake then, do they? They sleep the sleep of babes and children. Women have never woken up at 3 in the morning. But anyway, yes. So for beating this boss, you can do something special, which is you can take pieces of pumice that you have and make them into a whole pumice. Or, if you find in a different part of the game, if you find Alexander's little hammer, you can use it to break that apart and get 2 bits of pumice back. So, that's what you unlock for beating this optional boss. It really just sort of chucked him in a corner. Oh, I think you can actually make Jesse's sword as well, but I don't think it does anything. Still blown away by the panel joke they put in the game early on. Still don't know if it was accidental or on purpose, and you're still upset it took you years to notice it. But what was this? Regarding March when he was an undercover knight of Pluto. Oh, and all the knights had names except him, right? Oh, well, his was blank. Of course. For reference, in the game, March's name is blank. Yeah. Distracted by more bad writing. What? 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 I'm just gonna say what about that one. Again, I don't have the context of the story. Maybe it makes sense. But anyway, goodbye, Necron. You existed, ironically. Well, I guess we've changed them, so they're Necroth now. Cool. Right. We have now done all of the side stuff, or all of the non-story stuff. And we get to a place. And this place is a big old crystal, which I won't draw, because it's too big for the screen. And it is the crystal of creation, or at the very least a representation of the crystal of creation, the thing that made all life in the universe. Pieces of this crystal shattered off and made all of the weird crystals that have been used as MacGuffins in the story up until now, so it's a big old thing. And Mr. Swan, according to Goldo, Mr. Swan plans on destroying the crystal, therefore destroying all life in the universe. So that's what's happening right now. Just sort of coming out of nowhere. But to be fair, that was his plan. He said, look, hey, if I can't live, why should anyone else? So he found a way to do that by finding the crystal at the center of the universe, I guess. And yeah, we eventually find in this weird space dimension place we find Mr. Swan, still in trance form, still... yeah, what? Kiro is also one now. So yeah, he's still in pink monkey form. In fact, I won't draw him fully for reasons. But he is standing in front of the crystal, which has some spinny circles around it, because spinny circles. I won't draw the rest of Mr. Swan because technically there's something else we've got to do first. But yes, we arrive and we're like, hey, Mr. Swan, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm gonna destroy the life in the universe because if I can't live, why should anyone else? Let there be equality. What is definitely the right reaction. Yeah, what? Women don't have thumbs, we know this. But anyway, and we say, no, we're gonna stop you, because that's what we do, we're JRPG protagonists. And then he says, haha, you're gonna stop me? And then a boss fight starts. And it doesn't involve him. Because when I said we're done with things that don't have anything to do with the story, I was kind of true, but also kind of lying. Because there was a bit of story, and this is technically a story moment, even though this boss also literally comes out of nowhere. And I can't really remember what it looks like. This is a boss from Final Fantasy VI, as I recall. Frameman. Oh, no, there's only a couple of lost frames here. Hopefully it's not... If there's anything more than that, that is it's on Twitch's end. We've lost 88 frames, which looks like 2 snowmen. Hey, Kara, what does this thing look like? The main thing I remember about this is that it absolutely kills speedruns. What did I ask? What does this thing look like? Also, what's it called? Death Guys? Or something? I think it's called Death Guys. Hey guys, it's Death. But yeah, welcome to another boss that comes out of nowhere. And it has an attack that does literally random damage, so it can just completely destroy a speedrun. This is already close enough to it. Yeah, there's not much detail to it, all things considered. But I want to make it more substantial. It feels less sleek than I've drawn it. It's sort of more like, boom, I am solid. This is it though, this is the guy. Or guys, death guys. You are tired. It's fine. But it looks like my original prediction's correct, and we're just going to be able to do all the bosses today, and then the next stream will just be the epilogue. Which, to be fair, is quite a lot going on, so... Thank you for distracting with the best literary references. Anyway, this shows up. They're pretty big. Here's a quimp for scale. They're not that big, but pretty big. Enjoying the stream though. Almost forgot about this guy because after the first time you game overed against Necron, you went back and saved after this fight and last fought him days ago. Yeah, once you beat this fight, you can just like walk back and save. Mr. Swan's like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. You go and save. Well, that's fine. Just like this big climactic moment. I think your characters go, right, time for the final confrontation. And then you just turn around and walk away. Okay, I'm gonna save now. It's a good time. Doing. That's a good one. Pud nipples vibrating like a doorstop spring. That's just comical. No one should be describing anything as doorstop springs without knowing it's going to be funny. But anyway, you beat Death Guys, number 10, I think. No, 11. Yes. Yeah, because we have 2 more. Death Guys. You beat that, it comes out of nowhere, and Mr. Swan is off-screen, says, oh, wow, they really beat Death Guys, huh? I guess I should fight them now. Because this wasn't just inserted into the game at the last minute. And now, we actually fight Mr. Swan. And it's effectively a repeat of the previous fight, a bit harder, obviously. There's not really any special gimmick, I think, to this one. Yeah, that was pointless. Welcome to the latter part of this game. So this is Trance Swan. Actually, now that I think about it, the fact that they were riding around on a goose. I mean, maybe that was why we called them Swan. I don't know. They're floating. Oh, by the way, this crystal that he's threatening to destroy, that's also the crystal that's on the front cover of the game. Again, the Final Fantasy IX was originally going to be Final Fantasy Gaiden, i.e. Origins. And the crystal is always a big thing in every Final Fantasy game. It's usually the catalyst for things. So much of the last parts of this game feel so last minute and disconnected. They really do. They should have just waited. They should. Well, they couldn't have waited because the PS2 was coming out. But it's annoying. This game could have been way better with just a little bit more time. But they released this a year after 8. Final Fantasy 8 was a year before this, and I know they were working on them concurrently, but still. Yeah, sad it was rushed, but hey, if the FF7 remake is, works out, maybe. Maybe we'll get a 9-1. I'm not sure I'll want a 9-1 because I haven't played the 7-1, but maybe at least it'll, you know, a bit more thought will be put into the end. This is the thing with like the FF7 remake. I don't really know what's going on with it because I haven't played it, but I know that like, you know, they haven't just done a straight like let's copy and paste the dialogue and the story and the plot and all that. They have, you know, taken the opportunity to shuffle things around and play with events and what have you. You really like the FF7 remake so far. Nice. But I do feel like that's just sort of like, that's an open creative playground, as it always has been, because Final Fantasy VII has had so many spin-off stories and all these sorts of things. But if you did it with something like Final Fantasy IX, you could actually like fix stuff that was rushed. It's not inherently bad, but it can't have been the original intention of the designers, because it feels so disconnected. I'm sure there's stuff that was, you know, put in last minute in FF7, but I don't know. Maybe someday. I'm not holding out hope. And also I'm one of those people who probably won't play it because I'm fine with the experience I have, I guess. Doesn't mean we can't do Falls AU over there. But yes, as you know, as I said, there are 13 bosses. We decided that, and this is boss number 12, so even our arguably main villain of the game doesn't get to be the final boss. We know who the final boss is because you chose. So what happens? What happens that this isn't the final boss? Bura Byohangi, that's alright, I'm just going to explain Star Wars. So you attempt to beat him, but he does exactly the same as what he did when you last tried to fight him, which is he just casts ultimate and fires magic missiles all over the place, including at the crystal, which was his intention originally. So you didn't really get the opportunity to stop him doing what he wanted to do. And everything goes white, because the Crystal of Creation has just been bombarded with the most powerful spell in the universe. And you wake up in a weird, desolate void, and you're all collapsed on the floor. All of our characters are collapsed on the floor, and I guess I will have to draw all of our characters collapsed on the floor, because of story. When you were drawing Trance 1 fight number 1 and mentioned him doing the Ultima as a last BS attack, he was actually playing this part of the game during that. Okay. They're like, oh, I gotta look forward to that. Okay, so over here we have Vivi. Second time I've drawn Vivi face down. Keep hearing trans one. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. It did transform. You never guess what it was doing right when you mentioned it. There's nothing to look forward to. It was already happening. Kaboom! Yee. Over here we're gonna have Zorolda. Again, there is a reason that I'm doing all this. The ones I'm going to draw up close are the ones that have really simple on-the-floor appearances. Chores done. Pasta slightly underwhelmingly done. Shark very tired. Oh no, underwhelming pasta. We had lasagna and it was nice. You should have had our lasagna. I would have sent it to you in the post. Honestly, it would have stayed warm long enough. That stuff's like lava. Stop now. Hi friends! Halloos! How you doing? Over here we have Tondon Dingle. Yeah, we are at the final boss of this game. Almost. Which chat decided would be Hades, but we'll get to that. You did well, yay! You did productivity. It was more than me because I was supposed to hoover up yesterday and I forgot. I mean, only I said I was going to hoover up. Still, I'll try and adhere to the things I want to do. So yes, there's Tondon Dingle with their one dreadlock. We have Quimch, of course. There's Quimch. Who else? There's Betty. Because there is one more thing we have to do before we fight the final boss. You have another choice to make, and it involves all of these characters lying on the floor. Who else? James and Knox. And then Simeon is standing up and talking to another disembodied voice. Do you remember when James was in this story? Well done on the productivity. Productive shark. Oh, there was a thing about a shark. What was it? Oh, a thing happened recently about a shark and I was going to tell you about it and I forgot. You love James, but also he's not been in the story for so long. Yes, it's been a very long time. But yes, Simeon gets up and hears a disembodied voice, but this time not the disembodied voice of Goldo. No, this time it's the disembodied voice of Hades. Spoilers. And basically, the universe is in a state of collapse, what with the crystal being attacked. And Hades has come along and gone, right, well, that solves that then. I was always under the impression that, you know, people who were alive wanted to live. But I guess that's just not the case. I guess, you know, this is evidence that the whole point of life is to die. So, you know, you wanted to destroy the crystal that gave life and made all of the life. Evidently, the living things don't want to live anymore. So I'm just gonna sweep up this universe and, you know, call it a day. And they start talking about like this, you know, life is suffering and life is death because you can't have life without death and all that sort of stuff. And then they just quote Star Wars. You know, anger leads to hate, hate leads to pain, pain leads to suffering, or whatever it is. Whatever the quote is, it's just literally verbatim in the game. Bloody Yoda is a scriptwriter for this game. Necron kept killing your mages over and over again. You couldn't juggle to keep both Betty and Vivi alive, while also keeping everyone's HP up and such, let alone do damage to them, yeah. Fun fact about this final boss, and one that made me want to make a game. It's 100% predictable. Every time you fight it, it does exactly the same thing. There is no randomness to the moves that he chooses to do. So, not true of Hades, but it is true of Necron. Just so you know. And that made me go, really? It's the final boss? And then I started looking into AI of enemies in games, and I started trying to come up with ideas for games that had interesting AI. And Simeon's like, no! We do believe in life because friendship and love and all those things, you know? Screw you. I think he might actually say screw you at some point. He's very colloquial with his language, as old Simeon. Hades out there taking the initiative, yes. But he's just like, you know, I've been dealing with dead people for bloody ages, and now, turns out, you just want to destroy everything. I'm like, okay, fine. Saves me the paperwork, you know? And so what happens now is you get to choose your final party for the final boss, which parties in this game consist of 4 characters. But we have 8 characters here. You have to have Simeon. But the idea here is that everyone's on their last legs and they're basically dead at this point. However, for every party member you don't choose, they gift their final energy to a party member you do use, and they revive and get up, right? So it's kind of like they lend each other their energy. Friendship paving the way, or whatever. Why do we always have to have Simeon? He is, contrary to the actual plot, the main character of the game. He is the person you control. They do a Goku, exactly. They do 4 Gokus. Is he though? Yes. Shouldn't be. But whatever. Yeah, he's been the protector even though he isn't. This is the thing I said at the start. I was thinking, like, you know, if I'm just recounting the plot here and not the actual gameplay, so will people even know Simeon is the person you control? The only time he actually is connected to the story is right at the start when he has to kidnap the princess, and then right at the end with the whole Terra thing. But anyway. So yeah, we can decide who our final boss group are. We will work that out as I'm drawing them, because this is Hades. Now, unfortunately, I've completely forgotten what Hades looks like, but I know he's sitting in a chair, so that's a good start. I think he's got a hood. He's got like a big evil throne. So yes, if you're just joining us and wondering why I'm drawing Hades as the final boss, that's because he was originally supposed to be the final boss and then was replaced with Necron at the last minute. And it really doesn't matter which is the final boss. They both serve the same purpose. They are the representation of death. I'm going to give him a big horn. Hades is a pale man called Zagreus, but also called Hades. He's very thirsty and has a dog. Also, I quite like the boss theme of this of the final boss for this game. It's no One-Winged Angel, it's no Dancing Mad, but it is very clearly just Nobuo Uematsu going, I want to write some prog rock. I was like, sure, go ahead. You have fun with that. Now just thinking of Chris's doodle of Pluto from the Hell RPG. Should I put them in there somewhere? They're behind. Surfy horse. Jeeb has this on a coin. Anyway, back to Hades. Hades nuts. What? I can't remember what the throne is made of. Probably skulls. Leaves. But it's not autumn anymore. Of every person you know, Chris is in the last 10 people, you would have thought make a D's nuts joke. Because the only time I would ever make a D's nuts joke is when there is no joke to be made. The only humor I could possibly get out of a D's nuts joke is the absurdity of one happening when it shouldn't. In precisely the same way that I don't swear, as a sort of general rule. No, I don't. It's not that I don't swear. It's that if you swear constantly, it sort of blunts the impact. So that, like, you know, it's not that I swear when I'm angry either. When I'm angry, I just don't really say anything. But you know, by preserving the surprise, you can use swearing to a sort of particular effect, as it were. Same with the sort of D's nuts thing. It's surprising when it comes from me, and as a consequence, humor can be mined from it. Yeah, exactly. I don't swear as a matter of general colloquial usage. But I will swear for the purposes of shitfuck cunting comedy. You know? It's all about intent. You're welcome. I'm glad that landed. I was trying to work out how to say it for like the past 5 minutes. I was like, I've got one chance at this. The Sword of Lost Souls. I don't know. He's got a cool looking sword. I don't know what it looks like actually, but I'll try and make it vaguely Hadesy. Highlight of the day. Made you smile when you're playing Gubbins. Nice. I managed to get a high score in Gubbins, and I have no idea how I'm ever going to beat it. Because I haven't come close since. I don't know how the game works. Let's give him the Trongle from earlier so that we actually have some sort of theming of anything in this game. And also Fluff, yeah, because why not? It feels a bit weird to be being quite so lackadaisical about a final boss, but again, it comes out of nowhere. Technically, in terms of the story, Mr. Swan was the final boss. And Mr. Swan only had 2 forms, which is a bit underwhelming. I wanted to see Trance Swan. Uber Trance. Highest is 8k. Mine's like 5.5. So it's not even particularly impressive, but I've just never come close since. Final form, non-binary Swan. I'll be perfectly honest, Swan has been swinging around that non-binary swag the whole game, so... I'm glad you enjoyed, miss. So that's something we could do as a Fool's AU for this. We could come up with alternate Mr. Swan forms. You know, given what all the other bosses in this game turn into, or in this series. Scaly Bob hands, Scaly Bob hands. It's like tap, tap, tap. Hey, want to make something feel more dramatic than it is? Make it windy. But yeah, I can't really remember specifically what Hades looks like, which I guess is a good indication that maybe that shouldn't have been the final boss, because I can't remember what it looks like, and I can vaguely remember what Necron looks like. Adds to the list of reasons you like them. Mr. Swan has a, you know, the big appeal of Mr. Swan is their way of carrying themselves and their way of speaking. Neither of which I can communicate through or draw through. They're just a very sort of, they're a fancy boy, fancy non-binary boy. Non-binary. Like this drawing. Thank you. It's the final boss of our Drawthrough anyway. And he does this big attack where he sort of holds up the thing. And what is going on with that arm? That's not him. And he holds up his sword and does a big sweep, and it spreads status effects everywhere, and it's bloody awful. Wait, does he do that? Or did it just happen in my randomizer? I can't remember. Either way, I like to think he can. Also, the I do what I want vibe. Oh yeah, he's beholden to no one. He does, like, you know, bow down to the queen when he's her magic military advisor, but then immediately goes off and says, well, I hate her. I'm doing this for the job. / for the purposes of trying to get power. Oh yeah, also, which characters are we doing this fight with? It doesn't matter, but I can draw them in for scale. I'm going to assume Quimch, and we need a Simian. Well, do we need a Simian? We don't need a Simian. The game wants a Simian, but we don't need a Simian. We don't have to. Screw that. Quimch, Baby Vivi. Not Simian. Oh, it's going to get covered by this. That's actually going to look normal for once. I could probably also have drawn the arena in this time, because the arena's kind of neat. James, Nox, let's have Nox be a part of this. Also, if James is here and Vivi's here, they can do their whole synergy thing of setting swords on fire. Quimch leading the charge as a good protagonist should. Problem is, if Quimch is the protagonist, we'd have to rewrite the story in such a way that whenever Quimch left this story to find food or jump in water, that's where the plot would go. No major healer in that group, but Quimch and Nox do have some healing spells. Yeah, Quimch has got like White Wind and stuff like that. Probably just White Wind, to be honest, but you know. Oh, Mighty Guard, yeah, that's great. White Wind and Mighty Guard. What more do you need? Oh, and Nox has regen, yeah, Reese's Wind, yeah. I always forget what Nox has, I never really used Nox. Perspective's a bit off here. Because that's what's important in this scene, is perspective. Oh, this played as soon as I started drawing Nox. That makes sense. Da-da-da-da! A great party of heroes. Love Nox. Would always have her in a party if you could. That's it. That makes sense. And now you're grumbling about Kane. Original Dragoon. Well, not the original one, because it was a thing in 3, but also I haven't played 2. But yeah, so the arena we're fighting this in, we're just floating in the air. We've been raised up into this strange cylinder, and the cylinder's sort of got like, it's very sort of Colosseum-esque concentric circles. It's a motif, and it does look cool. And there's sort of big. There's another Dark Souls reference if you're interested. It reminds me quite a lot of the Kiln of the First Flame. Similar sort of clouds in the background. And also just sort of like random eyes that do periodically blink in the background. Some biblically accurate stuff going on here. You raise me up, Aziraphale, Aziraphale, of course. And I'm just going to do this because personal satisfaction. But yeah, so you give the physical manifestation of death what for, and the whole place crumbles around you and it explodes into a big white light, and then the epilogue starts. We have beaten the game, everybody, but there is quite a long after story to be gone through, so we'll see how everybody gets on after the events of the game. I mean, maybe they're all dead, maybe they all died. Maybe they did not save the world and this was all useless. What an anticlimactic finale. Yeah, we've got 25 to 30 more in-game minutes for the epilogue. There's a whole, like, Matrix-style cutscene we gotta go through yet. There's a nice pale skin tone palette. But yeah, we have now completed gameplay. There is nothing left to do in this game but mash X. Or circle. That scene cracked you up at like 3 a.m. today. It legitimately made me laugh. There was actually a well-constructed joke in that cutscene. It's great. And it's after the end. So I've probably only ever seen it once prior to replaying it. Because otherwise I'd just be like, beat the game again, turn it off. But no, we do actually have plot. We want to see what's going to happen after this. Because interesting things will happen. That's all I'm going to say. There will be at least one thing that will make you guys go, what? And many other things that will probably end up making you angry. But we have now... sorry, I haven't properly credited them. My apologies. Number 13. Hades. There we go. We've now done the 13 bosses for the end of the game. I said there were 13, and there were. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed. This is the penultimate stream. Definitely the penultimate stream. There will only be one more. Maybe we might even finish halfway through. I don't know. It depends on how much I want to draw of the things that happen, because I don't know. There are lots of things happen. There's lots of scenes that happen, most of which are quite short. But yeah, certainly made you go, what? When you saw it. You've seen it before, but for gore. Me too. But yes, hope you had a lovely time. Hope you enjoyed. I'll be back tomorrow morning with carrying on drawing up some of those silhouette friends. And then it will be in the evening at Chibstrom. Gonna go zzz now. Have a good one. Have a good zzz. Look after yourself. Recover from the feels not goods. Have a good zzz. And we'll see you tomorrow for Cheap Stream, hopefully, if you're feeling well. And you feel like you want to do it. There's lots of conditions. I'm not going to expect anything. But I will look forward to the possibility of good Cheap Stream. Yeah, wishing you well. Is that late? Yep, we've actually gone relatively over for one of these streams. But I did want to finish the gameplay, so... This was the boss rush at the end of the game. And it was very anticlimactic. Nothing I can do about that, I'm afraid. That's just the game. Always has been. Thank you for the company. Thank you for the company. I always find it funny when people are like, oh yeah, thank you for keeping me company. It's like, what do you think you were doing for me? Like, I would be doing this regardless of if anyone was here, because there's no point streaming something you don't want to do yourself. But, like, having people here is just what makes it really, really enjoyable, because it's just lovely chatting with people and coming up with stupid things to say and reading really, really bad authors. And making Miss laugh with swears. It's all a good time, you know? You should always stream for yourself, but always make the most of others. That's the general... Make the most of others does sound a little bit exploitative. That's not what I mean. You know what I mean. But yeah. So that's that. We'll be back again tomorrow morning, and then Saturday morning for some music times. And Saturday evening for probably War Tales, although Dark's talking about other stuff, I don't know, we'll see. Sunday, Friend Doodles, etc, etc. Tuesday, Ghost Trick. See where that's going. Oh, I haven't written my diary for that yet. And Wednesday, the finale. The finale of this. Panic dance, everyone. Panic dance. And I'm hoping, maybe, by the end of this week, I might be able to get the October video out, possibly. I've got commissions to do and October stuff to do, and also get Christmas cards sent out, and many other things, but I really, really want this October video off my shoulders, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'll see. How long has this song been playing? Did it play twice? Might have played twice. Anyway, have a lovely old time, everybody. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you all around. Look after yourselves, eat Lebkuchen, and have a grand old time. Goodbye, bye, 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 bye.